But first tonight, the news this week has been dominated by the defamation verdict of war hero Ben Roberts-Smith. I have to admit the trial was a victory for the Nine Media Group, which the judge ruled had satisfied the grounds for their accusations that they levelled against the Victoria Cross winner. Now, I've got to say I don't know Ben Roberts-Smith, although I do know some people who do. Accordingly, I am not equipped to make judgment as to whether he's a good bloke or not, and nor do I know firsthand what sort of soldier he was. However, what I do know is that our SA troops are the best of the best. They're trained to do a job that many of us simply couldn't do. They go where others fear to tread. And our government sends them in to do the heavy lifting, and often in secret. By the time we all know they've been deployed, it's likely they've already returned successfully from their mission. These incredible men and their extraordinary capacity was never more called upon than in the disaster known as the Afghanistan War. And when I call it that, it's in no way meant to be disrespectful to our troops. They did a magnificent job of devouring the unpalatable sandwich they were asked to eat again and again and again. In that war, there was no front line for them to face. Any person they encountered could have morphed from goat herder to terrorist and back again in the press of a button. And the atrocities committed by the Taliban against our people, as well as their own, I have to say, were simply abhorrent. But no one seems to give a hoot about their behaviour for some reason. Being confronted as someone on the ground there with that poison day after day, rotation after rotation, would challenge even the hardiest spirit. And I know it broke some of them. Many of those who actually left the service are still trying to patch together a civilian life, starved of support by the army brass, I have to say. Some covered up their trauma and they continued to serve, which compounded their own problems. So I will not judge any man for whatever transpired on the battlefield. I've neither walked in their shoes nor lived their experience. But those who were concerned by the behaviour of their fellow soldiers, they deserve our respect and honour too. But so do those who are more brutalised by their service. It's a compounding experience of trauma or exposure to traumatic events. That changes people indelibly. They can become desensitised to what many of us would find simply unacceptable. Some of us, for example, are squeamish about killing an animal, and yet somehow we expect these men to be unaffected by the taking of a human life on the battlefield, sometimes many, many human lives. And the instant and deceptive transformation from friend to foe and back to friend again would simply compound the perceived threat and the uncertainty that these troops faced. And that's why I care nothing, frankly, for the alleged crimes of Ben Roberts-Smith. He was made by our army. He did what was asked of him. If he was broken, then it's the ADF which should bear responsibility for his repeated deployment. And having the allegations against him tried in the media, or a defamation court as it was recently, or the court of public opinion, to my mind, it serves no positive purpose. And as to his Victoria Cross, they're all piling in on that now. It was awarded on the basis of a specific act of valour. Whatever else he may have done, his courage under fire can never, ever be disputed. The Victoria Cross is not a character award, nor a token of appreciation. It is the highest honour a soldier can receive for gallantry and valour. And while some of his colleagues may not have liked the way that BRS was alleged to have gone about his business on the battlefield, I'm sure those do not include the beneficiaries of his storming of the machine gun nest at Tizak in 2010. I've no doubt that Roberts-Smith is not the only SAS regiment trooper worthy of a Victoria Cross. There have been others, but there are many who have been unrecognised. Because the SAS people are all heroes who have paid an incredible price for their service. That some may be flawed or bent or broken, that weighs heavily on me. It's why I don't believe we should sit in judgment of any of them. Our nation called, and it called many, many times, and these men responded, no matter how challenging the task. And for that, we're all indebted to their service.